So today we're going to be doing a really easy weeknight steak taco recipe. And I put 20 minutes in the thumbnail, but honestly if you do it a couple times you can probably get it done in like 15 minutes. And this is a relatively short video today. A lot of the videos I do recipes that are a little bit more complicated and complex, but let's be honest, we're not going to be able to make those things on a day-to-day basis. We got to have easy recipes too, and I do want to work in a lot of these kind of recipes in there, so you're going to be seeing more of these in the future. In fact, video topics like this should be short videos. Steak tacos aren't that complicated. They're very easy to make. So if you come across a video that's like 17 minutes long or some shit like that, know that they're going to be dragging ass in the video to get their view time up. And I respect your time more than that, so let's get to this. Okay, the first thing we need to do before anything else is to toss these things into the oven. And this is the easiest way to step up your taco game regardless of whatever kind of taco you're making. And I've got this oven temperature set to the lowest setting, which is 170 degrees. And I think that's pretty universal for pretty much all ovens. And the cool thing is, whenever you get everything else done, these will be hot and ready to go by that time. And if you're wondering whether these get stale over time or you're gonna leave them in there too long, I wouldn't worry too much about that because I've left these in there for like an hour before and they were just fine. So in we go. Okay, for the steak, I'm gonna be using this top sirloin steak here. It's a more budget-friendly cut at $7 a pound, and it's packed with flavor, so it's perfect for this. So let's get this thing ready. For the steak, I'm gonna start with a spice rub that is made of equal parts Guajillo chili powder, New Mexico chili powder, oregano, and garlic powder. Give that a stir, set it aside, grab the steak, and season both sides with kosher salt followed by our spice mix. And a few notes on the spice mix, these chili powders are available at regular supermarkets, but they're significantly cheaper at Mexican grocery stores, so that's the place to get them, and they're seriously underutilized in most kitchens. So go pick a few of them up and give them a try. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. Okay, for hardware today, I'm going to be using this grill pan which has the grates inside of it. This thing works great on the flat top stove that I have. If you have a gas stove, you can use one of these things if you have that. Or you can use whatever pan you have. If you have cast iron, non-stick, stainless steel, use whatever you have. But the cool thing about these things is you get sort of a grilled flavor from them without firing up the grill, and you don't have to worry about blowing up the house either. They work great, so let's get this thing going. Okay, place the pan over high heat, coat the surface of the steak with a little bit of olive oil, and once the pan heats up, place the steak into the pan diagonal to the grate lines of the pan. Roughly 1 minute in, turn the steak 90 degrees. This will create crosshatch grill marks on the steak, and I know the steak is going to be chopped up, so in and of itself, grill marks don't really matter, but a greater amount of surface browning does matter because that creates flavor. Repeat this process for roughly 1 minute on each section of the steak, and make sure to have your overhead fan on while doing this because it can produce a bit of smoke. And once you've got all your grill marks established, go ahead and toss the steak into the oven to keep it hot alongside the tortilla shelves. And while that's in there, let's turn our attention to the salsa, or pico I guess. And when it comes to tomatoes, as a general rule, outside of homegrown tomatoes, the smaller the tomato, the more flavorful. So I'm going to use these things. I'm using about 1/2 of this package, or roughly 5 ounces, and all I'm going to do is slice them into quartered sections. And once you're finished up with that, place them into a mixing bowl, and to that add 1 to 2 tablespoons of diced onion, 1/2 of a diced jalapeno, 1 to 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro, the juice of 1/2 of a lime, and a pinch of salt. Give that a mix, set it aside, grab your steak out of the oven and cube it up with your knife into bite-sized pieces, or about the size you get at Chipotle. You could cut them into strips, but inside of a smaller taco, strips are harder to eat, so cubes work best here. Okay, now that we're finished up with that, we can put these things together. And I bought a small package of taco racks for like $4 at Walmart, so I'll get my money's worth and use one of these things. Place about 1.5 ounces of meat inside each shell, or 2 ounces for a really stuffed taco, and fill out the rest of the shell with our Pico De Gallo mixture. And that's it for these tacos. This is one of my favorite weeknight meals. Sometimes simpler is better. Well, there you have it, the easiest steak tacos you'll ever make. And if you do the calorie math on these things, 2 ounces of steak per taco is 6 ounces, which is 360 calories. Each shell is 50 calories, totaling 150. That brings the total up to 510. You probably have anywhere from 50 to 100 from the olive oil. The pico here is sort of irrelevant because it doesn't add much, maybe 30 or 40 calories. So you're looking at 3 tacos being around 650 or less as far as calories go. My problem though is I'm not gonna eat 3 tacos. I'm probably gonna eat 5 or 6. So I have a plan, yeah, but it's not really gonna hold up because I'm gonna eat a shitload of these things. But it is what it is.